We know that when someone is wearing a mask, it's sometimes difficult to hear and understand. Doctors and speech therapists say it's too soon to know if masks have had a long-term impact on early learners.
All right, kids, can you put your pencils down, please?
Melissa Calvillo loves teaching kindergarteners in Buchanan.
To watch like their little minds work, and all of a sudden it's like you can see the light bulb go off, and they're like, and then they learn so much. They're like little sponges. I itch it.
I itch it.
Her job has changed a lot over 2 years. Calvillo taught virtually for several months last year.
I had to get really creative on how I would present lessons. What's this word?
This year, students were back together, but masked up for much of the school year.
At the kindergarten level, a lot of the things they learn, especially with like letter sounds, is I will say, look at where my tongue is, or look at where my mouth, how I'm shaping my mouth.
Ottawa Elementary Principal Stacy Dennison says the pandemic has created challenges for students and teachers.
I don't think it hindered it. We just had to work a little bit harder.
She ordered microphones for several teachers in her building, and many wore face shields so students could see their mouths. Still, referrals to the school's speech therapists are up this year.
Both speech pathologists have definitely reached out to me. I'm in on the IEP meetings, so I know that there's been an increase in referrals.
While there are some studies that show it's more difficult to understand speech while masks are in use, speech therapists and doctors say it's still too early to know how masking might have impacted learning for children.
There's no research for sure linked to it yet. Probably because aspects of the pandemic are still occurring. So ruling out variables, deciding what is causing what is still not certain.
Medical experts have recommended workarounds for teachers and emphasized to parents that they shouldn't wait if they notice a delay in their children.
I had one who, when the mask came off, finally here a few weeks ago, I was able to hear some issues that concerned me about speech that I didn't get a chance to hear before. Don't forget to look for your sight words.
Walkerton elementary teacher Emily Walker says masking made it more difficult to teach her kindergarteners how to read.
It was hard because especially since we are focusing on letters and sounds, we like them to look at our faces when we are talking. Look at the way my lips are. Listen very carefully to me. We're trying to listen very carefully to them and hear that they're saying it correctly, which is really hard to do if you're wearing a mask.
Walker says the kids adjusted well. Masks or not, she believes the biggest factor that impacts her students is the ability to be together and in person.
Especially in kindergarten, you need to be able to do those kind of things, be together, be close, be in a group. So the sacrifice of wearing a mask to me is worth it to kind of be what a regular kindergarten should be.
There's no research currently happening at Notre Dame that relates to mask wearing and the development of early learners. But we did talk to Darsha Narvaez, who's doing a long-term study on evolutionary parenting practices. She says one of the biggest indicators of child development is spending time with your children. She also says that research shows highly stressed parents impact the child. More on this on Operation Education on Wednesday, when we talk to doctors about the development of babies during the pandemic. In the studio, Kristen Bean, WSBT 22 News.